Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to more Z2R Max Rando tournament action. We've got Ellendar versus CS Tutor in Swiss Round 2. Both winners 0-1, looking to improve their standings in the Swiss stage. Let me go and get the game loaded, and then I'll hand it off to our commentator, Mirai.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to our second week of Swiss. As VXR threw it out there, both of our runners 0-1 tonight. Unfortunately, taking losses in week one. But if anyone's concerned about someone losing their spot in brackets, don't be. Our Swiss rounds here, we've got such a low turnout, 14 runners only, that we've decided that everyone's going to end up in brackets. So win or lose tonight, it is just for seeding purposes. However, both of these runners, I'd say pretty evenly matched up tonight. Ellendar has been part of the community for an extended period of time, but lately has been talking about how he hasn't been doing any practicing. So we'll see if that comes back to bite him in the rear. Tutor, on the other hand, not as old as a runner as some of us in the community, but does practice on pretty much a nightly basis, I'd say. So we'll see. Both of them had amazing races in week one. So we'll see how this turns out here. I think we've got a pretty evenly matched race. I do know what they're starting with right now. We'll see a countdown begin shortly. We kind of took a little peek at the loadout, just to get a good idea here. So we're not scrambling when it goes live here. I'm going to do a quick refresh to make sure I'm in sync with what chat is seeing. The countdown on screen will be started shortly. Don't know the biome, just know the loadout. We'll see what happens from there. This is our max rando flag set, though, which means additional craziness. We could have less than 4 hearts. We could have less than 6 gems. Really anything goes for anything that can be randomized, essentially is. And here we go. 2 lives to start. Oh, boy. So we've got fairy jump spells to start off with, boots, 5 gems, and 3 hearts as well. I'll also go ahead and spoil it that they have downstab on top of that. River Canyon with the boots. Easy to navigate this right off the start. Ellendar making a potential mistake that runners tend to miss. He has the boots. He has the boots, and he's walking across the land bridge. This happens all the time when you start with items that you didn't pick up and you're just not familiar. Oh, you know what? I'm going to retract my River Canyon. I'm going to say potentially islands right here, because we've got water to the west of our starting points. Tutor already with a game over. That Moa in Trophy Cave is tricky. It's the worst enemy to run into here in Trophy Cave. You can run into a bat, a spider on the ceiling, or a Moa. And a Moa is one of the most annoying enemies to fight there. Looks like it's getting hit pretty hard. Oh no. The candle there in Trophy Cave. This is essentially what happened to Tutor in the previous race of week one. And it was the candle in Trophy Cave, and he didn't find it for an extended period of time on a low resource start, which set him back in the beginning. I wonder if we're going to see the same thing here, where the candles in Trophy Cave, we do have islands, the candles in Trophy Cave and Ellendar, finding that early on is going to be very, very helpful for this low resource start. Ellendar is going to up an A, though, and head back. We got Reflect, I believe, in Raru here today. Going to be grabbing that. 5 gems, might as well. We only have to do 5 out of the 6 palaces before we can gain access to GP. And that means that you're probably going to want to give up, you might not want to go fight Guma on P5. You might not want to do P6, could be longer, much longer palace. P4, not going to be the shortest thing in the world, though. Although, again, Max Rando, we do have a flag that kind of puts the bosses anywhere in the palace. So the boss might be 2 rooms in, boss might be 18 rooms in. We're not sure until we go in there and look around. So I didn't notice any hints so far, although I've not been watching like a hawk on what the NPCs are saying. So chat can help me there if we've seen anything. Tutor's going to be heading up north here. I think this is a pass-through. It is the back of Fairy or Parappa. Ellendar going to be grabbing his Reflect spell as well. Found Bagoo's Woods here. Not going to be useful today with our boots walking around this islands biome. Going to be free. I said River Canyon in the beginning because I saw water right there, but it is an islands biome. We do find the cave right to Maze Island, which also has the cave to the east, as we're seeing the desert tile, heart of the desert tile. Tutor's liking that right there. He's going to grab that and then just dip back into Maze Island. Is he going to hang around here? He might. There's going to be 2 free items on Maze Island tonight, as there always is. Tonight not being an exception to the 2 items on Maze Island. We are looking for a way into palaces, though. Unlike the vanilla game, where the vanilla game you just walk into palaces and there are keys in there, that is not the progression in Max in the randomizer whatsoever. The randomizer is going to want you to have either the magic key, which is an infinite amount of keys in your pocket, or it's going to give you the fairy spell. And if you notice that, if the fairy spell being I'm sorry, we started with the fairy spell. I'm making the same mistake that Ellendar is still making by walking around on the land. That's too funny. So we started with the fairy spell. I didn't notice it was castable, though. GP on Maze Island, key in the drop there. If we see a key as a drop where an item normally belongs, that means we're going to have a heart that is replaced. Something with Max Rando, we don't know the maximum amount of hearts that are in the seed. We did start with 3. We found one on the desert tile, but we don't know if there are going to be another 4 or not. We know that, right, we're seeing that key in the drop on the Maze Island there. We know that we've got at least 1 less heart. So possible maximum of 7, possibly less. We're seeing Ellendar. That was a game over, and I believe Heart Container Cave there. These 2 lives to start, not amazing. And he has the candle, so he sees the danger before it gets to him. All right, Ellendar finding the cave to Maze Island as well. Going to be looking around a little bit. Probably going to check the cave. Not going to check the cave. Okay. Oh, he's going to check the cave. He's going to see that desert tile, and that's going to get him his extra heart as well. So he'll be up with Tutor. Tutor's got to get back into Trophy Cave ASAP to get that candle. That's too funny. 2 weeks in a row for him. Trophy Cave right next to start with the candle in it, and kind of a low resource start as well. And this is something that he's going to pass up. And we'll see if it comes back to affect his overall time at the end of the day here. Life in Rando, didn't see it was in Saria, although we do have a spell from the west. Did we have Fairy from Saria already? I'm not sure. We might have the spell from Saria as it is. 3 hints in Rando on top of that, so we'd be looking at hints here. Barba slithers with the magic jar. Whenever you see that hint, normally we talk about like the little red jars and little blue jars. We refer to those as jars. In this case, when you see magic jar as a hint, it actually means magic container. It's just that container is such a long word. It doesn't really fit in the text there. But if you do get a hint for a jar, it will say blue jar or red jar specifically. Got P5 here for Tutor. Not going to jump into there. I'm trying to catch whether Fairy is castable or not. Also, Maze Island Bridge, which takes us to the east. Back to the east again. So it's looking like Raft to Death Mountain if we need it. We've got 4 connectors. The 4 vanilla connectors that you're used to. That's going to be the 2 caves that go to Death Mountain in vanilla, and the raft tile that takes you to the east in vanilla. Then on the vanilla east, you've got the Maze Island Bridge, which takes you to Maze Island. In the randomizer, especially with this flag set, anything goes. That is literally what the flag is called for continent connectors. Anything goes. So we've got the same 4 connectors, but anything goes, as in they can take you anywhere. You're guaranteed to be able to reach all 4 continents in some way or another, but where the connections connect you to is all random. We've seen 3 of them so far. We've seen Cave to Maze Island, Cave to the east, and then we saw the bridge to the east as well there. So last connector is going to be the raft tile, and the last place we haven't seen yet is Death Mountain. So that we can pretty much just rule that out. Glove sitting here in the Pillar P-Bag Cave on the west. That's a big find. Pretty easy. Both of our runners running trackers here, so they know exactly what caves they're looking for on the west. Ellendar probably not going to leave that behind, but he's looking for the second item on Maze Island. We know that Maze Island is kind of a dud today. Usually Treasure Island, not so much today though. Just looked like a blue or red jar on the ground as well as a key. And then GP, of course, on Maze Island as well. So 3 or 6 here for Tutor. We don't know which palace is in until we go inside. Normally you can tell the palaces from the outside, but 3 and 6 are unique in the sense that you got to go inside to either see the window that is in some of the palace rooms or find the boss, and then you know what palace you're in. Or we do have a hint for Barba slithering with the magic jar. So if we find a magic container, we might assume that we are in P6. Going to go left out of start here for Tutor. P5 there for Ellendar. It's going to be a dead end on Tutor's side. Nothing going left. Going to head right. Woman at King's Tomb knows nothing. I believe we've only gotten 1 hint so far. There's going to be 4 hints total in the game strewn across the towns. And then, of course, King's Tomb, there is a possibility to get a hint as well. But so far, I think we've only gotten 1 hint. Whether the hints are useful or not is another story. Sometimes it's just for random items. Sometimes you will need them, but the randomizer does not break things up like that specifically. It just throws some random hints in there, and whether you want to chase them, that's up to you. Whether they're useful to you, that depends on the seed. It's not like Z1R where they have deceptive hints. All of our hints are truthful. It's just whether they're useful or not is kind of up to the seed and up to you as a runner. Clement chat saying we've got some small keys in the drop pool there. That is pretty nice. What I'm hoping to see also is 1-ups in the drop pool, because this 2 lives that they've got is just Tutor showing us, as both of our runners have shown us, 2 lives and it's a game over. And we might see some extra levels go towards life, the life stat in this one, as opposed to attack and magic right off the bat. 70 bag in Heart Container Cave there for Ellendar. So what do we still got? We've still got Medicine Cave to find. Did we see the grass tile? I don't think we've seen the grass tile. Each of our 2 continents are going to have 6 what you would consider like overworld checks. On the west, it's going to be 5 caves and 1 grass tile. On the east, it's going to be 2 caves, 2 environment tiles. That's going to be the desert and water tile, and then 2 locations in New Cstutor, the town itself. Speaking of Medicine Cave, we have found Medicine Cave on Ellendar's side. He's going to cruise right through here. 2-2-3 for his levels, 2-1-2 on Tutor's side, although I think we're going to do a little grinding off this statue here. Yes, we see the keys again in the drop pool there on Ellendar's side. One more enemy here before he shows us what is in the cave itself, just another P-bag. So we're seeing a lot of P-bags here, and that's another thing that might give us a hint that we don't have a lot of hearts left to find in this seed. It's entirely possible it's entirely possible we found just that 1 extra heart that exists, and both of our runners will have a max count of 4 hearts then. Still yet to be seen, though. Still yet to be seen. There are junk items in the pool to begin with out of the vanilla game, so those do get shuffled in as well. Palace items, overworld items, and everything in between. All that gets shuffled around your standard item locations from vanilla. I didn't see how much these red guys were given Tutor over here. I think it was 70, if I'm not mistaken. I may be mistaken. It is 150. I was definitely mistaken. 150 is much more worth it. 1 more kill. He'll have that 610. I'm not sure what that is. We got P1 for Ellendar over here. Again, I don't know how much it is to cast Fairy. I think I just saw... Did I see Jump at 50 or did I see Fairy at 50? Oh, man. Regardless, we're going in. It must be castable. Oh, we got a glove block right off the bat here for Ellendar. Not having the glove out of what we know is Pillar P-Bag Cave, somewhere around here on the west, wherever Tutor was. He found that already. So I think Ellendar has seen, according to his tracker, he's seen everything but Magic Container Cave and Pillar P-Bag Cave and the Grass Tile. So he still has 3 outstanding spots. One of those he just found right here. 2 Dairas blocking the way here. Going to be not too much trouble. If they were red, this would be more problematic. 150 for the Dairas. That's very nice as well. This won't be our glove, but is it going to be something important? The raft. Well, I don't know, right? We've determined that raft, wherever the raft tile lies, is going to take us to Death Mountain. But whether we have to go to Death Mountain today, I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and find out. Probably not. I mean, by the look of it, overall, if we need the hammer, maybe it's in Death Mountain. It can only be in one of the 2 locations, though, because one of them does require the hammer to get into. Grass tile here. Speaking of hammer, never mind. Maybe we need the flute. Maybe there's a flute in Death Mountain today that's required. Other than that, maybe thunder, the item that's blocking thunder, if that even exists, being blocked by something, maybe that item's in Death Mountain. Death Mountain's usually not the place you go to dig items out of unless you're kind of forced to do so. Red Daira is only worth 50, whereas the orange ones are worth 150. Good old Randomizer, randomizing experience tables as well. And Ellendar is in. Oh, 1-up's in the drop pool. Very nice to see that. Ellendar is going to be getting his glove here very shortly in Pillar P-Bag Cave as Tutor's doing a little bit of grinding. This is something, it might look a little tedious to do this, but I do tell runners especially newer runners who are a little uncomfortable with a start that they may get in something like Max Rando, that if you find a place to grind like this, just grind it out. You're going to have a lot better time if you just grind it out a little bit. Unfortunately, a 70 bag there, half of what that Red Iron Knuckle is normally worth. But if you just grind it out for just 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and you get 150 per kill, you're definitely going to be at healthier levels than you would have been had you just been trying to slam your face up against the wall. You know, as you get more skillful with this game, more experienced with this game, You are able to read the palace rooms, the enemy sets and all of those things much better. You become more comfortable with the game overall. You do less grinding. But you lose more time if you're dying repeatedly and you're not gaining any experience versus if you just did a little bit of grinding, gained that experience, got those levels. And we see him at 323 and Ellendar sitting at 234. So probably about the same experience between them, but just slightly different leveling strategies so far. Ellendar coming back into P1 here with the glove, though, making his way first through that first glove block. A little confusing room here. That's not an elevator shaft. That is definitely a drop room that Ellendar just dropped into. Can be a little confusing. It looks like a shaft. It's skinny like an elevator shaft, but it was designed as just a simple drop. Tutor back into this 3 or 6. Again, we don't know which one it is just yet. We haven't seen a window. We haven't seen a boss. We haven't seen the item. If it's 3, it shouldn't be too long. 3 is likely going to be the second shortest palace, whereas P1, as Ellendar loops back to the front of the palace, it looks like, unless this is a duplicate room. Probably not. Looks like the same enemy set. So whichever direction he took, I think it was right as he fell down. He's got to go left from wherever he lands. And I was talking about palace length there. So P1 is going to be the shortest palace, and P3 is likely going to be the second shortest, depending on the way that the palace room counts roll. It could be plus or minus 25% from their vanilla numbers. So if P1 rolls high and P3 rolls low, then P3 could be the lowest number. And we see the windows there on Tutor's side. If anyone caught a glimpse of that, they are jail bar windows, which indicates P6 and not P3. So if he wants to look for the item, that will get him a magic jar. I don't know if he was the one who showed us the hint or if both of our runners got the hint. I don't remember who got the hint exactly. I think they might have both gotten it because I think it came from Raru, which they both got reflect out of. More glove blocks in P1. And the item room here. You know this is the item room because you see the statue head right there on the wall as you come down the elevator. It's a dead giveaway. It's the only room like this, and it is the item room here in P1. We'll see what the horse has for us. Has a key and still casts fairy to get through there. Flute in P1. So, again, if we talking about Death Mountain earlier, if we had a required flute or something that might have been hiding in Death Mountain, we definitely don't need to go there now. Death Mountain's probably not going to be the place to go, but Me's Island's a dud today. Death Mountain's probably going to be a dud today. I think we're just going to be able to jet through some of these palaces and get done with this game ASAP. I say jet, but the 2 lives might be a little punishing, might slow things down here. Tutor going up against this Doom Knocker in the way. This is always the fear early on, and especially in a low resource seed, even if it's not early on, is that 3, 4, and 6, we've got palace pools, and this is how the vanilla game works as well. You've got palace pools, so 1, 2, and 5 are part of one pool. 3, 4, and 6 are part of another, and palace 7 is its own pool altogether. But in 3, 4, and 6, you can have Doom Knockers in these palaces. So to pick one of these palaces early on, you might get punished with a bunch of Doom Knockers. He does have downstab, so he's able to get over this one pretty easily, but the other one was kind of in his way. But if you don't have downstab, know that you might be running into these Doom Knockers, and they're pretty punishing. Whereas 1, 2, and 5 won't have Doom Knockers, but they'll have the little Goomas as well, the little red guys who throw like sticks of meat, whatever they're throwing. Those are called little Goomas. Ellendar getting a little beat up on the horse here. I think he can take at least one more hit. He can't take another death, though. I think he's on 1 life. He does get the horse down. We'll see what bosses are dropping. 1-ups as well. That is extremely nice to see, as Tutor also finds a 1-up from the small enemy there. So that means if Thunderbird is required in GP, we will get a 1-up from killing Thunderbird, which is nice. Thunderbird in this flag set is not necessarily required, which means that once we're finally in GP, further down the line here, once we're finally in GP, we may see Thunderbird's room, and it may just be a red herring. He doesn't have to necessarily be blocking the path to Darklink. And Ellendar tried to go up against that blue Iron Knuckle, took the death, had the extra life from the boss drop, says, no, I'm just going to place this for 78 experience. Kind of feels bad when you're placing gems for that little amount, but they do have to place 5 gems, so he's still going to have 4 more free levels after all. Just take it, don't risk it, and get out of there. Tutor back up into this room. I guess he deemed... 6 is a little difficult. Sometimes it's difficult to watch where the runners are routing, especially in a 6, where 6 is bound to be like a minimum room count in the low 20s, or if not closer to 30, depending, again, on how high or low the randomizer rolls the number of rooms. I think he's looping around, or maybe not. No, this is a different room that he's seen before, I think. Didn't see what was on the water tile there, unless I did see it. It was a pea bag. Was that a pea bag on the water tile there? I think it was a magic jar. Okay, my bad. Magic up. Fantastic. That's very nice to see. There's our raft tile. Okay, and here's our dragon. Perfect, on Tutor's side. We'll see if he sticks around for the magic container that was prophesized to be in here. Could be behind the boss, so probably take a little peek behind the boss. Otherwise, it could be buried in some other direction, and again, 6 can be kind of annoying to look through and route through, but I don't know. A magic container is always very nice to have. I didn't see what we're picking up in Nibiru here, but we are in Nibiru. Go to the fountain, get the water, talk to the woman, quench your thirst, and then into the basement you go. Tutor taking a death to Barba there, taking a bop from the dragon itself. I think he was down to about a heart there. Ellendar with the quick menuing. I also was not able to see what happened, what spell we picked up there in Nibiru. We'll see it at some point in the future. I like watching the Barba fight here, though. Oh, the shield spell. Perfect. Okay, that's very nice to have. That is a very nice pickup right there. Yeah, this attack 3 Barba might take a little while, but as long as you're, I mean, as long as you're not taking damage and falling into the lava, you should be okay. The only thing you don't want to have happen here is a game over and be sent all the way back to start and have to come back through here one more time. Got about half health there. Getting upstab on Ellendar's side. Didn't see what the spell was either. We may have started with the spell from Dirty. We started with one from the lower half and one from the upper half, so. For anyone not familiar with this, and some randomizer runners, especially newer runners, aren't familiar with this, is that the spells are shown in the spell book in the order of the towns that you would have gotten them in vanilla. So Raru, Rudo, Saria, Mido, and then Nibiru, Darunia, New Casuto, and Old Casuto for the list there. So you know that if you walk in and you talk to the sign, which we have a flag in the randomizer that allows the signs to turn into the name of the spell, you just talk to the town name there, see what spell it is, and you know you've got it. But if you can identify that in your spell book already, then you know that when you don't need to enter into that town. You don't even need to check the sign or anything like that when you walk in. And we do get Barba down on Tutor's side, going to jump the gem as well. 651 out of 810 experience. Immediate dead end, though. Kind of a sketchy room. He might be able to farm this Mew if he wants to for 10 experience. That's kind of crappy. There could be a jar. Yeah, there could be a jar, but there could also be a bag or a key or something at the end of this room here. It is going to be a key. He can attack the statue and see if it's a red iron knuckle. He's not going to try that today. Sometimes it's a little dangerous. Sometimes you end up in the lava if you do that. We'll see if we do a little farming on the Mew to try to get a little level up here. Heart for Ellendar. Going to put him up to 5 hearts there out of the basement in New Casuto. This is one of the 2 items that are available here. The other one only accessible if we have the spell all the way at the back of town. Raise up the spell tower and then check the basement there, see if that's something we want. I don't think we have the spell just yet, though. We are going to be doing a little grinding on Tutor's side here. Again, like I said earlier, not a terrible play, especially if you know there are P-bags in the drop pool, and both of these small enemies are giving experience. So 10 for the Mew, 5 for the bot. It doesn't have to be that way. Both of these enemies can roll at 0 experience, but they didn't today. And again, as I talked about earlier, just level up. Like, just level up a little bit, right? Just go in there. And Ellendar, a little confused on the gem count, I think. A little excited, a little premature excitement there. Might have confused the lives that he had remaining at the top. It says 1 and then key number of keys he's picked up and then gems. So a little premature on the attempt to get into GP and is going to go back to some of these other palaces. You're moving quick. It's a tournament race and easily able to misread things. It's a lot easier in the standard tournament, which is usually our more popular turnout overall that happens in the summertime. is that you automatically know every single time you fire what we consider a standard seed, it's going to be 4 magic containers, 4 heart containers, 6 gems to place, no items, no spells to start, and then, just beat the game. When it comes to Max Rando, you have to be kind of memorizing a bunch of things that you start off with. Just noticing that Tutor still doesn't have that candle from the Trophy Cave. Not that it's going to be much of a detriment at this point. He's pretty leveled up, but he's still missing the item in Trophy Cave, and you saw him just just poke his head into Medicine Cave there, not wanting to pull anything out of there either. I forgot what was in there, if that was something we wanted. I think it was just a pea bag, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be mistaken. Trying to look at Ellendar's tracker, but I don't see... He doesn't track the items that come out of the caves, just that he saw the cave. Yeah, Trophy was Candle, but I wasn't sure what was in Medicine Cave. Tutor now into P1 for his second palace. Ellendar also into a palace here. Oh, he's into P4, that's right. Try to take on this blue Iron Knuckle. Gets him down for 150. Gets the magic level. Going to take the up and A and start over there. Took a little bit of damage. Tutor going to find the loop if he holds right at this point. He's going to be looped back to that first room. I think Ellendar also being forced to the left here. I think right was our dead end room with the blue Iron Knuckle in it from earlier. Sometimes palaces will just kind of force you in a direction. It's all random on how these are put together. We have what we call community rooms. These are palace rooms that are essentially aftermarket, if you will. They're not from the vanilla game, and so they've been designed by players who have authored their own hacks, their own Z2 hacks that you might have played, something like Benthic King, Winter Solstice, other games that are slipping my mind right now that are some of those rooms from those palaces are used in our palace layouts. On top of that, there was a room jam, I believe is what it was called, about 2 years ago, just before the 4.0 version of the Randomizer went live. The room jam happened, and a bunch of members from the Z2 community and Z2R community, they designed rooms for these palaces, and they were judged and approved, and the ones that made it in are in, and we've got a lot of community rooms, so it's something that if you're a vanilla runner, or you're just at least familiar with the vanilla palace layouts, that none of that makes any sense in the Randomizer, so it's knowledge that doesn't really carry over necessarily. But it is interesting because you will see brand new palace. I mean, some people don't think it's that interesting. I certainly thoroughly enjoy these palace room layouts with community rooms for sure. They kind of break up the monotony of the vanilla rooms, which there's only so many vanilla rooms. There's not a lot of them. So if you don't play with community rooms, you will see a lot of repeated rooms and whatnot. At the end of the day, it is what it is. But just in case anyone's confused on the palace layouts here. Item for Tutor here. This is going to be his flute as Ellendar tries to make it past this blue Staphos, I believe, jumping on him. Oh, there it is. Yep, I said something. Oh, that was a game over as well. Wow, that's not good. He's got the shield spell. I don't know. He's got to save a little bit of magic. He doesn't have any other way through doors except any keys he's picked up, which is not a logical means to get through palaces. Again, we talked about this where we need either the magic key or the fairy spell. Our runner started with the fairy spell, so that's the way we're using to get through doors that we encounter. But because we're in P4, we also need to cast Reflect on the final boss. So with 2 lives, we need to be able to cast Fairy and Reflect, and we probably don't have a lot of budget left for shielding in the rooms where we're taking a lot of damage. So it's something to consider, and this is what the Randomizer throws at you, especially Max Rando can throw at you when it's when you've got low resources and you're kind of wanting to dig through palaces. Oh, is that what happened to Tutor? He used the wrong spell there to get through the door. I did see him cast Jump. And then he was back at start again, so, okay. Did pick up the extra life there, so he's good in that regard. Ellendar does just chop through the enemy. Still 50 to cast Fairy, so it is 1 cast per life. That's pretty punishing, unless you find some refills along the way. Yeah, it's, this is part of the game. This is part, other than just beat the game, the other part is strategizing, and this is what makes you a better runner, is strategizing. Well, looking at your spell book, in this case, we've got Expensive Fairy, so with 2 lives, you only get 2 casts of Fairy. You should probably be focusing on magic levels to bring that Fairy cost down. Tutor's saying no to the flute. Not even sure if we have a flute block today, like a 3-odd rock or something. But saying no to the flute. However, strategizing your levels is definitely something that makes you a better runner. You know, if you're not good if you're not comfortable at lower attack levels, well, you're going to be leveling attack. If you've got low health resources, you're going to be leveling life. But if you've got a combination of those things, if you've got low attack effectiveness, low life effectiveness, and a high cost of the only way into palaces, which is fairy right now, you know, where do you put your experience? This is something that you have to think about on the fly. The timer's going, the race is happening, right? So how it all plays out, you're kind of gambling and hoping that the next magic level in this case is going to be that level that brings fairy down to a much, much more lower state in terms of magic costs. Yeah, in Tutor's defense, it's, you know, we know where GP is at. The only thing that could be hiding under there, well, I guess we don't really, I mean, from his perspective, he doesn't know where Thunder's at. So it could be that we've got a 3-odd rock on the east, and in this flag set, it could be anything under 3-odd rock or the forest tile if we encounter them on the east. And in this case, I don't know if we've seen either one of those. I don't know how long we've spent on the eastern continent. I didn't see a lot of its layout, but if we do have a 3-odd rock, or if we did have a 3-odd rock and there was a town underneath there, you would need the flute to access it. And I don't think Tutor has the full picture of the eastern continent so far. So yeah, skipping out on the flute, especially when you're that close, could have been detrimental so far. We kind of assume that it's not, but I don't know. Anything's possible. We'll have to see more of the eastern continent. So Ellendar does take a death to Rebo Shark there. That was, again, another community room where we have mini bosses kind of guarding the item. And that was a Rebanak that is slightly glitched due to him being put in P4. He takes some of Karak's cloak, some of Karak's robe or cloak, into the horse sprite just because the way that all the sprites are loaded into the banks, I guess the horse just doesn't load correctly. And this is something that happens in vanilla as well. It's not a randomizer specific thing. There are some glitch categories in vanilla that you do bosses in a certain order. And when you do Rebanak, you will see the Rebo Shark as well. So something that just carries over to putting Rebanak into P4, sharing the memory bank with all the sprites that he does take on part of Karak's sprite, which makes it look like a shark with the way that it is, the way that it's just oriented. Yeah, he ignored the basement. He definitely can't get in, but it would be nice to check to see how many containers it is to get in case it is something that's required. Ellendar was able to get in on 5, if I'm not mistaken. We are going to have P4 down for Ellendar. Not going to be getting the item. Maybe he'll backtrack it, but probably not at this point. Depends on how comfortable he is fighting that Rebanak. I think he just wanted, well, he's got an extra attack level now at least, so nope, he's going to be up in A, and he's out. This is going to be Sunken P-Bag Cave for Tutor. We'll have to see what is at the back here. We've got a red Lizolfo blocking the way there. Not sure if that was a fair exchange. 200 points for a death. Or for a life, I guess I should say. I'm not sure we've seen P3 just yet. We haven't seen what's in Death Valley, and I don't think we've seen all 3 palaces on the east. I think P4 was on the east, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a little difficult to track this because we have... It looks like we have a canyon, river canyon east here, and an islands west. All right, so Tutor going to be getting his magic container here on the water tile. Ellendar might be looking around for item caves, but he also just might be looking around for that palace that's right there on the edge of the map, hidden down here. That's quite a cozy little corner, if I do say so myself. This is going to be, well, 2 or 5. And it's going to be, I guess it's going to be 5. I guess we've seen 2 before at this point. Or Ellendar just likes to keep us guessing. We did see 5 on the west, and yeah, we did. Tutor showed us west on the 5 on the west earlier on, next to the Maze Island Bridge. And I assume Ellendar saw that as well. So P2 might be a long palace, might not be a long palace. We were talking about palace length before in terms of room count. 2 and 4, kind of medium to medium large. 5 and 6 likely going to be large to extra large, and then again 1 and 3 going to be small to medium-ish. So these are likely going to be a little bit of a dig, but again, the boss rooms can be placed anywhere, so this might be Helmet Head's room right here. And it isn't, although it looked like it might have been. Is this P4 for Tutor? I didn't see the front of the palace there, but this looks familiar as if it was the palace that Ellendar was just in, heading to the right here. Okay, so P4 for Tutor has already gotten 1 and 6 down, whereas Ellendar's gotten 1 and 4 down, and he's currently in 2. So not exactly the same routing so far, but I think it might end up very similar, seeing as we do have to place 5 gems. So, you know, which one you're going to skip? You're probably going to skip 5, like I said, unless you're just really comfortable with the Goomba fight, or you're, you know, kind of decked out in terms of attack levels, life levels. The shield spell helps immensely on Goomba as well if you want to take some damage. So, you know, we might see a 5 dig, or we might see someone going to Death Valley, which is likely going to be P3 at this point, I believe, just out of ruling everything out. I don't know all of our Western palaces. We have 5, we have 1, and something else that I don't remember seeing. I'm pretty sure 4 was on the east. And now we've got 2 on the east. Oh, 1. Yeah, I guess we're missing... I must have miscounted somewhere. Yes, GP was Maze Island. So we've got 1 and 5 on the west with a third one that I'm not sure what it is. We've seen 4. Wherever 6 was. I guess where was 6? Where Tutor was. I don't know where 6, whether it was 6 was east or west. Whichever continent it was on, 3 is going to be on the opposite. And here's our medicine in Palace 2. I don't know if that's going to get us anything interesting today. I don't remember checking this. We didn't go in for the hint. We already had downstab, so we definitely didn't visit Mito. Could be dash. Could be... We've seen life already. Could be... We've got jump already, so... Could be dash at this point. This is going to be a dead end for Ellendar as well. We know there's a little bit of a dig here for Tutor. He's going to be in this room. Kind of tough. Oh, I was going to say he's got a sliver of health here. Might take a death. If he takes any other damage, that's going to be 1 death, I believe. Still got... Oh, that's going to be the game over. Okay. And that's not even his elevator either. I believe that's the elevator that leads to the item room, which is guarded by Rebanak. And he's going to have to keep holding left at that point. So this 4 might take a little while, depending on how well he is able to move through some of these rooms and avoid damage. Question in chat, is Ellendar head based on items, or is it neck and neck? It is pretty close at this point. The raft is not necessarily required for anything. The flute, as we know, does not seem to be required for anything. So those 2 items are kind of nothing burgers at the moment. In terms of gems placed, we've got both of them in P1. Tutor has done P6. Ellendar has done P4, currently in 2, whereas Tutor's currently in 4. So it's pretty close at this point. I think 4 is going to be maybe a little more difficult, at least so far what we're seeing versus what we're noticing in 2. Helmet Head could be nearby, and Helmet Head doesn't require... We talked about this a moment ago, where Tutor's going to have enough magic in his tank to be able to cast Reflect when he finds Rebanak, which is going to be a little bit of a dig into the palace here. Whereas we found Helmet Head now. Doesn't really matter how much magic we have. We do want enough to cast Fairy, but yeah, we might have some keys in our pocket. I guess that's true for Tutor as well. If he doesn't have any keys, he's going to need at least enough to cast Fairy and Reflect. But bosses are dropping 1 up, so you can always back out of the room, take the death, refill your magic bar, and then go through the door with the Fairy spell. River Devil not required today, just kind of hanging out, getting some sun on a nice road tile. All right, I was wondering how far Ellendar was going to take it, if he was going to keep going, trying to look for the item first, but he is just trying to take the death. He did not have anything to take the death on, I guess, in the previous elevator room there. And there's a key. How about that? No death required. Yeah, I don't know if that red jar is... if they're in that room could have a red jar, but if there's an item up by the enemy, there's no red jar in the statue head. I wasn't sure if there was an item up by the enemy or not. Or were we talking about something different, Clem? I'm sorry. There was an elevator that he had to go through that he came in from that could have a red jar in it there. That's what I was referring to. Tutor, seeing that that is not the direction he wants to take, going to keep heading left. Lizolfo's locked in the ground today. Nice and easy stab. Nice and easy 300 experience points there. Might have been nice to grind that a little bit earlier. At this point, probably not so much, although Ellendar is going to take his anger out on that Zora. Tutor does find, what's his name? Karak. And has enough to cast Reflect. Hopefully Karak does not troll him too badly here in the corner. Looks like he's going to be able to make it. Oh, that's about a heart and a half. So you can take 3 hits from... Okay, never mind. Karak down. But unless he's got a key in his pockets, he's going to have to take a death, possibly game over. Not a game over, I'm sorry. We are dropping 1 up, so I have to keep reminding myself of that. So he's going to take the death here in the lava and then be able to... Or he's going to check for a key. That's a thing, too. Probably be faster just to check for the... Or maybe he wants a level. Oh, he's going to get the level. Very nice. Actually, he should have probably taken that level because that would have resulted in a double level, whereas now it's just going to result in a single level unless he goes back beyond the gem pedestal. I'm not sure. We'll have to see here in a moment. Okay, so he's going to jump the gem. He must want the attack level. Yeah, these blue staffles, that's almost about a heart and a half too from these guys. Wow, I might have been more interested in that life level. That's going to be enough. Ooh, Yep, definitely wants the attack level. Okay. Ellendar finally finding his grass tile as well. And he's into 6. So, okay, 6 is on the west, which means Death Valley's got P3 in it today. We're still at Magic 5, though. I don't think Fairy has come down from 50, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think we've seen another Magic level necessarily just yet. We might have 1,300 for Ellendar's next level. I'm not sure exactly which level that is. Could be Magic 6, could be Life 6. It's definitely not going to be Attack 5, unless Attack 5 is rolled incredibly low today. Into Naburu for Tutor, going to pick up his shield spell here. Death for Ellendar, unfortunately, against this red Iron Knuckle, these tin suits that are trolling him at the same time. We do know that Barba's not too far in if you just go the right way. I believe it's going to be just an up and right at that first elevator he runs into. Tutor, I believe, just held right. He saw the up at the elevator, but then decided to head right. Led him kind of nowhere, and I think this is where Ellendar needs to go up and right. Tutor did run into that. Oh, sees that elevator. He's going to check down here. Same thing that Tutor did. I will say that Tutor last week, something that did cost him a good time in that race, is he had a pretty bad P6. That P6 from last. Oh, he missed the P. Oh man, Ellendar. He missed the P bag. It looks like, but then he left the elevator up high, so you can't get to it unless you reset the room, and then the elevator automatically starts at the low side of the room there. So. Doing a little double backing there. 500 points, though. Going to get him to... Okay, so life 1990 for attack 6. We did see a pretty interesting encounter on Tutor's side as well. A lot of blue Lizolfos. Nice slowdown. A lot of large enemies thrown into that encounter. I'm not sure I'd be fighting that at this point in time. But if you had Thunder, and they do, you might find that a place to grind at some point. But I'm sure you will only get 1 cast of Thunder, so I'm not sure it's worth it. Ellendar taking the hit. Is that going to be a game over? Oh, nope. He did pick up a 1-up at some point. Oh, Clem reporting that Tutor missed the palace in the corner. Luckily, they only need 5 palaces, right? They only need to place 5 gems. So if he can't find it, he's either going to keep scouring this east for it, or maybe he'll just concede and just jump into 5 on the west. He did make it a point to grab that extra attack level, so that would make Guma a good bit easier. Looks like he is going to head into Death Valley. Again, 2 lives, 1 cast a fairy, 3 lava encounters here to get through, very likely. Could just be 2, though. Could just be 2 encounters. It looks like it's actually going to be 2 encounters, 1 up above us and 1 straight left. At most, it's going to be 2, because as we come out of the cave, you can see there's no additional trail to come out of that cave there. It's just going to be simply right out into the mouth of the volcano. So that's really good for him. Well, I guess it's good for Ellendar as well if he goes that way, but it's just good for low resources. Tutor looks like he's trying to do an encounter skip here. Doesn't get that one. Does get that one. Is going to ferry out 1 heart container per hit of enemy there. So we've got 3 hearts left to make it through this cave. This is going to be a double screen cave. Lots of nonsense in this cave. Lots of spiders and bats, possibly some coconuts, as they call them, the giant slow-moving eyeballs, as well as Moas, as he just lit one up there. Avoids all the damage in there. Very lucky. 2 more enemies to go through. Looks like something on the ground, a bot, and then whatever is here, and he's going to be into this P3 in Death Valley. Double bot in the second encounter. Very nice. Into P3 as Ellendar is still digging around P6. So we did talk about this earlier on in the race. P3, very likely going to be very similar room count to P1. There's no freak turnout. There's no freak amount of, nothing's going to freak out in the randomizer and give us a 27 room P3. That's just not the way it works currently. So it is going to be a fairly simple P3. How fast, doesn't mean Rebo's going to be in the next room, but it could mean that. On top of that, though, even if Rebo's all the way at the end of it, it's still going to be maximum like 13, 14 rooms or something like that. I guess the only, it could end up being quite a linear palace, so it could still be kind of long in that regard. There's no guarantee there will be numerous junctions, although we see a junction right here. But there's no guarantee that you see a bunch of those. So Ellendar is on the right path here. This is a really crappy jump to make here with the generators. There's always at least 1 generator in this room that's going to mess with you, trying to get up that 3 tile high jump or the 3 block high jump. And yeah, just uses the jump spell, gets over that. Doom Knocker trolls him as well, says, you're going to jump, I'm going to jump. But this is the way to Barba if he can get there. And there it is. All right, so he's going to do an attack 4 Barba. Tutor was in here with attack 3. Didn't seem too bad either way. Took a little bit longer on Tutor's side. Although, to be fair, attack 4 doesn't necessarily end up being that much better than attack 3. We are using random effectiveness on all of our 3 stats, so they're not the vanilla values. It's very likely they're not the vanilla values, but they could roll higher than the vanilla values, so anything's possible. Another dead end for Tutor here. We've got the side jackhammer is what they call it on the Ellendar side, using the jump spell, getting some additional swipes up and down, up and down. That kind of sucks for Tutor. Yeah, he's just going to up an A. I was going to say, you've got the key. He just spent fairy. It's not worth it. Just up an A. It's the first room. And you spend that key and you get to keep your fairy casts. Oh, looks like 1 or 2 more hits for Barba. And here is Rebanak. 1 room to the right from start. Didn't notice it earlier, but Barba is the poverty Barba today, only giving us 300 experience. Could give us 357 or 1,000, 35700 or 1,000 experience there, giving us 300, the lowest roll on Barba, unfortunately. I don't think either way he would have gotten a level there. It looks like he had probably 211 points, and even 1,000 there would have only gotten him 1,200. So either way, probably not too important at this stage. Would have been more important for Tutor earlier on in the game, because he did this palace first, I believe. So it's 4 gems down for Ellendar. Needs to place 1 more. Is he going to go all the way back to Death Valley for P3, or is he going to do P5 here on the west? We'll have to wait and see. Tutor also still in 3. Did beat Rebanak, not placing the gems so far. Wants that extra 60 experience. Getting a little trolled in this room. Got to watch out, though. He's got the glove. So downstabbing is not really your friend in this particular room, because you'll just send yourself right into the lava. This is a bad combination to run into, because you can't really jump attack the Staffles, but you have to jump attack the Iron. Oh, there's the downstab into the lava. No. He's still got 1 life. We're okay, people. Oh my god. That was the pea bag, though. Oh, he jumped and tried to turn it around really quickly, and must have just hit down accidentally, and that was that. I might see what's in the dripper. Here we go. Oh, here we go. That's perfect. Ellendar looking around the east here still. Yep, still in the east. Might be looking for Death Valley. Might have not seen that earlier. Sometimes Death Valley is a little difficult to see. Sometimes you just don't walk far enough to see the border, towards the border of the map on each side, where Death Valley is always going to be kind of indented into the border. We do know it is on the west side today, but Ellendar probably has not seen that just yet. Attack 6 for Tutor. Might be banking either on a Gooma kill now that he's missed P2 in the corner, or on top of that, if there's a Thunderbird requirement, he's going to make Thunderbird a whole lot easier to attack 6. Although I think Ellendar is at attack 5. I could be mistaken on that. Nope, he is at attack 5. Okay. Yeah, so a little bit of time loss here for Ellendar. Looking around from Death Valley, about to see it right here. Again, lucky for our runners, only 2 encounters to get in here. And we are into 5 on Tutor's side, so 5 could be a bit trolly, or we might have Gooma 1 room to the right. We'll have to wait and see where Tutor goes and where it all takes him. This is going to be... any vanilla runners will notice some of these palace rooms. We did talk about palace rooms and community rooms earlier here, and some of the palace rooms are actually Death Mountain rooms. They've been repurposed for palaces, so this is one of those Death Mountain rooms that is now turned into a palace room. Not that they're taken out of Death Mountain. They're still in Death Mountain. It's just that they get doubled up now, and you'll see every Death Mountain room. I guess we've seen a lot of them at this point. I should have called them out earlier, but every Death Mountain room has been turned into a palace room, including the entrance to Hammer Cave. Almost a 51-minute mark here as Ellendar walks into his 5th palace. We know that as long as he just goes right, he's going to find Rebanak right here, and this is huge for him, as Tutor still needs to place 2 gems. This is the item room in P5. Is he going to grab it? I'm sorry, Tutor needs to place 1 gem. Yeah, sorry. I was counting what was lit up there. Yeah, I guess both our runners still just need to place 1 gem. This could be pretty quick. If Gooma isn't too far to the left here, I'm not sure we had a junction moving to the right. We might just go left on Tutor's side. Ellendar not quickly getting Rebanak off of his horse here, although is he going to be too far? He's going to be, almost too far there for Ellendar. Does get the corner strat. Quick and easy. Still got life on the bar. A little bit of a glitch there, but Rebanak down. 1 up in hand. Not enough to cast Fairy. Oh, he does have enough to cast Fairy now, so Magic 5 does bring it down from 50. Ellendar going to be the first to place our 5th gem, and he knows where Maze Island is. It's right close to start. We'll have to see how Trolley GP is on 2 lives. Is this going to be Gooma at the top of Tutor's elevator? He needs to find Gooma sooner than later. He has no magic, though, so he's probably going to take a death if he finds him early and then be able to cast Shield. Ellendar walking into GP about 5230, 5228, 5230, somewhere in there. Let's see what awaits us. Tutor with a... Okay, not a game over, just a death there. Got a 4-way to start. We got a left, right, and a down. We'll see where this takes us. All right, into a waffle or an emoji. We're going to stay committed to this direction here. This is an emoji room, another one of these community rooms. Just little smiley faces on each side. Both of them are a little bit different than each other. So it does create a little bit... Oh, we're not gonna mess with the blue iron knuckle. We do find Guma on Tutor's side. We'll see if Tutor feels behind. He's probably going to get this Guma down. I don't want to commentary curse him, though. Life 4, that's definitely going to be a death, I'd say. Even with the shield spell, Guma hits like a truck. And he might take a death here. This might be a one-shot situation for him right now with only 2 hearts. Ellendar into a phenomenal room. Love this room right here. Could have all kinds of different combinations, generators in here that really mess with you. There it is, Guma down for Tutor. That's what we wanted to see. He's going to place this gem. Not enough to get the life level there, unfortunately. He's just going to place the gem, take the level, and get into GP at 655. He needs to. There it is. Okay, elevator room here for Ellendar. Haven't seen where this one goes just yet. Got a reverse paperclip room. Tutor just going to walk it back here to the cave. I don't think he's too far away. Oh, wow, those birds. They definitely hurt. The beams, he survived the beam. He's down to just a little bit of health. Could check for a fairy here. Doesn't check for a fairy. On Ellendar's side, he could check for a fairy here as well. A new elevator junction. All right. Tutor into GP as well. About, what was that, 52:30? Or was that 51:30 for Ellendar? It's been 2 minutes or 3 minutes? 52:29, Clem put it in there, so 54, just over 2 minutes it looks like, yeah. We'll see. I didn't even see this left on Tutor's side. Wow. There's our 4-way. Okay, so we've got 2 lefts at start, a right up there and a right down here. We'll see if Tutor decides to take one of these. This path that Ellendar's on just keeps going. We haven't seen any loops just yet. Tutor might commit to this path, although that blue bird in the middle might scare him away as well. These runners are familiar with the fact they have 2 lives, so... As is tradition, the beams generally take off about 1 heart each. Still no bosses for Ellendar here into a waffles over lava room, or waffles and syrup, if you will. Tutor through the room that Ellendar did not go through, sees another pit room here. Ellendar gonna quickly take out this orange bird. They only take 1 hit. Yeah, this, I don't like this strat on Ellendar's side. These birds, they bounce. If you're attacking them on their feet, they bounce over your feet, and it's going to be hard to attack, and you got to get up on their level, which he's trying to. As we find Thunderbird on Tutor's side, he's going to do it. Can't cast Thunder on this life, so he's going to take a death. He's going to have 1 life to do it. Does he have enough to cast Thunder and Shield? I don't know how much Thunder is at this point. He may or may not. Again, Thunderbird not necessarily required in this flag set. Could just be sitting here. There might just be a dead end sitting after Thunderbird. We don't have enough. This is likely... Oh, man, this might be a one-shot Thunderbird for Tutor, depending on how that life effectiveness is doing, because he does not have enough to cast Shield. So Thunderbird hits like a truck. Got an elevator. Nope, not an elevator down. Double pyramid room for Ellendar. That is Tech 6 making mincemeat out of Thunderbird here. Uh-oh. Okay, can just keep him on the right-hand side, reset his pattern. 1 or 2 more hits for Tutor. Elevator down for Ellendar. This looks like the reverse paperclip might be a loop for Ellendar, and we're going to see what's after Thunderbird on Tutor's side. That is definitely a loop. Oh, it's an immediate dead end on Thunderbird's side, and Ellendar hits a loop. We are still looking for Darklink at this point. We got 2 left at start. We haven't seen a loop on either one of those. Ellendar also up an A's on his route. I wonder if he's going to go all the way down on right, or if we're going to see some left gambling at this point. Yeah, this is not a right. Unfortunately, yeah, that's a dead end for Tutor on the right-hand side. You can only go left here. Oh, Ellendar going to check it as well. I only know this. I don't mean to come off as like know-it-all. It's just once you become familiar, once you have memorized the palace rooms like a crazy person, like some of us have at the in the community, you just know that certain rooms go to nowhere. All right, we're going to commit to left here on Tutor's side, though. It is going to be an elevator up that we haven't seen just yet. Ellendar's going to go down and probably get lured in by the Thunderbird fight. This could be Tutor's race here. He is going to take out the blue bird slowly. Only 2 lives on our runners, and these guys do a lot of damage. All right, Ellendar out of there. He's got 1 more bird to get through in this one, though. This is where you almost wish you could just cast Thunder to get through some of these sometimes. That shield spell doing nice work at life 6, though. Better than 5, I'd say. He's also got an extra heart container that Tutor did not pick up. Is this going to be Darkling for Tutor? Okay, elevator shaft. Elevator shaft. Darklink for Tutor, that's going to be a GG. It's going to be a sub-hour unless he gets trolled here and takes the game over. But I think Ellendar is going to get sucked into this Thunderbird fight. Can't cast Thunder right now. Going to have to take the death. By that time, if Tutor does this well, it'll be GG. Darklink always takes 8 hits, no matter what attack level you've got. Ellendar with the quick flips on Thunderbird, very nice. 1 more hit for Tutor on Darklink there. There it is, GG Tutor takes it. Still sub-hour. Official race time of 59:40. According to the race room here, he is going to take the win and move on into round 3 as 1-1. Ellendar is going to take the loss and drop to 0-2, unfortunately. What a race. We had some divergence in the beginning. Tutor making a few gambles, not clearing everything he had available to him. Could have caught him in the end, but it did not catch him this time. Did take the Thunderbird bait, as Ellendar is taken now, but it was not the play, and it was just the first left in the palace. All right, Ellendar about to get the bad news here. We'll see if it continues on after this part, or if he'll just take the DNF, because who knows? From his perspective, who knows where Thunderbird or where Darklink is at? Nope, he's going to go in on it. Okay. Seeing if we can get Tutor in here for an interview. Ellendar headed left at the 4-way. This is not going to be the right direction, but we'll see where this leads. It might just loop into the right side of this 4-way. We've seen a lot of this palace so far. There were no other junctions on the way to Darklink. It was just simply go to Darklink at that point. So we'll see. This is an elevator up for Ellendar. Whether this loops around or not, well, it could just be a dead end. There's all kinds of possibilities when it comes to these palace layouts. Upstab block. Wow, we never saw a room like this before from the other side, so. Tutor will be joining us for an interview here shortly. Wow, there's a good amount of this palace in this direction. CS Tutor joining us, taking tonight's race. GG, Tutor.
Hi. GG, thanks.
Yeah, so when it came to GP, you entered a little over 2 minutes behind Ellendar. And what happens was he went down, all the way down first. He saw the emoji room. He saw the blue bird in between there, in between the emojis, and said, no, I'm going to go back up and right. And we didn't see any left checks at that point. So you came in about 2 minutes after that. You decided that you were going to go down and follow through in the emoji room, which led us to Thunderbird. You did Thunderbird very nicely, and right after that, an immediate dead end. Which then you took that first left there in GP, and that was the straight shot to Darklink, and that was it at that point.
Wow. So it was close, basically.
Yes.
Oh God.
Were you looking for the other palace on the eastern continent?
Yeah, I was trying to see if I had P2, if I could find it somewhere, but like when I couldn't find it, I was like, you know what? I know where Guma is. Let's just go kill Guma instead of searching.
Yeah. Ellendar did find P2. It is buried in the far southeast corner of the eastern continent there. You had to go all the way down. It was in a little cozy corner, just kind of blocked in there. Yeah, it was all the way down there. So it's understandable that you didn't see it unless you would have just kind of walked the border of the map itself.
Okay.
But yeah, you found Guma. Yeah, you placed your 5th gem. I mean, again, just based on the time that you entered into GP, just 2 minutes after Ellendar did. He placed his 5th gem, and then you placed your 5th gem, and you were both into GP. I don't know. There was divergence in the beginning. Here's what I thought was going to come back and hurt you, dude. You remember last week where it was a low resource start, and Trophy Cave was right next to start, and it had the candle in there. The same thing happened in this race. The Trophy Cave that you noped out of had the candle in there. Ellendar showed us that early on, and I was concerned. I was concerned that I was going to be his same replay as what happened last week. And yeah, luckily though, you had more resources than you had last week, so it wasn't that big of a concern.
Oh my god! Great. All right. Yeah, I mean, I was like, I don't want to do this because MOAs were just killing me for the first cave, so I just said no to it. I was gonna hope to come back later until I saw where Glove was, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's time to go mode stuff. I felt like just go straight to dungeons and try to start clearing as much of stuff as fast as possible, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't, again, it wasn't anything that was super, it wasn't progression. It wasn't like the magic key or something that you left behind, because we did have an expensive ferry today, and you only had 2 lives, and that was pretty punishing.
Yeah. Did Ellendar ever find the key?
No, we don't know where the key is. We did see. Did you see the Rebanak guarded item in P4 there?
Oh, I saw that boss room. I was like, no, I don't really need to kill this, so let's just skip it.
Yeah, we didn't see that. We saw the boss. He fought him, but he didn't. So it could be P4, could be Death Mountain at this point. I think we've checked essentially everything else. It could have been possibly P5, I guess. We know Barba slithers with the magic jar, so there were only a few spots left for that key to be. But yeah, neither one of you found it, so you were both being punished by expensive fairy the entire time.
Yeah. Luckily, the drops were really nice for the keys themselves.
Yes. And one-ups.
Oh, yeah. Like, it could have been a lot worse. I think the only sort of bad thing on this seed was the XP was kind of low on the seed.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty slow to get to, like, even, like, 800, which is what life was at 5. And I guess that was the only sort of bad thing on the seed. Other than that, it was a nice seed, I think, for the most part. Like...
Yeah, I saw you doing the power leveling strats on attack, which... Was that in case you had to do an emergency Guma, or was that because of a Thunderbird attempt, possibly?
Usually just to get all my stats up really fast. Like in this situation, what I was hoping for was getting enough XP for level 7 attack and using that for my life and for my magic mostly.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with 5 or 6, but if I go any higher than that, then I usually try to spill it over to the other sides. So that just to make it a little bit easier, I guess, for GP, because I want to go in as high as possible for GP, just so that way I can have the highest chance of surviving, especially since it's only 2 lives on this scene.
Yeah, understandable. Ellendar also joining us here. GG taking the DNF though at the end there.
Meh.
Yeah. It was quite the race though. You did enter into GP. Ellendar, you entered into GP a little over 2 minutes before Tutor did. You went down, saw the blue bird there between the emojis, said no to that, came back up and went right from there, which was a whole lot of GP, which did ultimately loop into itself as well. And then you up an aid at the same time that Tutor had shown us a dead end behind Thunderbird, which was down through the emoji room as you had seen. And then so you both kind of re-entered the second time together. He took the first left and you went down the Thunderbird path at that point. We knew that was wrong already, so we're hoping you would get through there quickly. And then Tutor had the straight shot. That first left was a straight shot, a few rooms in and 1 elevator up. And that was right to Darklink at that point.
Yeah, I mean, like GP is what it is. Like you always lose a bunch of time in GP. I'm upset about at the beginning. I somehow, when I checked, marked it as 1 gem instead of 5 gems.
Oh, we thought we kind of noticed that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done that one. So, because like from my perspective, I'm like, okay, I've got the glove and one is right here. I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna get Thunder, and Thunder was castable at whatever magic that was, and so like, okay, might as well do GP. Jump straight into the barrier.
You're not alone on that. I've definitely made that mistake myself before. I think everyone does at some point.
Yeah, and then beyond that, like I don't know, the palaces. I feel like I didn't play like completely awfully, but there's definitely some pressure from either not having 2 casts of fairy or like fairy costing 40. If I had played a bit normally near the beginning, like if I had another magic container, I think that would have been a pretty big difference.
Yeah, I think you both only found 1 magic container, which was on the water tile, and I don't think anyone else found another.
There was one in P6, but by that point I was almost already in Go mode. I was like, I don't want to even try to find that S. So
yeah, there was
there's
that
one in that
hint.
dungeon. Yeah, there's one in that dungeon though. Oh, by the way, GG's Ellendar.
Oh yeah, GG's.
But overall, it was a fairly close race, as we can see here. As you can tell, you again entered just over 2 minutes before Tutor did, but you did slightly different palaces. Ellendar, you found 2 down there in the southeast corner on the east, and Tutor couldn't find that. It was kind of tucked away there, right there, just at the very bottom corner of that continent. And so he went and did 5, and when you were doing 3 to finish up your 5th gem. He was still looking for Guma, but he wasn't too far behind at that point. So, and GP easy to find, easy to get to from start. And I don't know, it seemed pretty. Oh, I think we noticed this in the beginning as well. Did you forget you had the boots as well?
That is also true. That one I figured out pretty quickly.
I know. Oh man, it happens.
It didn't actually cost me that much time.
Yeah.
Like I only did that bridge crossing once, and then I think I dodged most of the encounters up to that northern cave where I died, and then when I started back up again, wait a second, I have the boots. What am I doing?
Absolutely, that's not the first time we've seen that happen in this tournament already, and it's definitely not going to be the last. You just get those items in the beginning, you're ready to go, and you just saw it. You just saw it in your inventory. You probably just put it on your tracker, and then you forget it. And then it's been 8 seconds, and you forget you've got them. Very interesting human brain phenomenon there. Just does not get recorded properly. But yeah, I'm not really sure there's too much to say here. I mean, both of you did very similar things at the end. There was divergence, whereas you did 5 and Tutor did. You did 2 and Tutor did 5. But, it all has to come together at GP, and it did. It did, and when Tutor showed us the dead end immediately after Thunderbird, and then you up and aid from where you were, and we were like, oh boy, here we go. We're both in, and we're going to pick different paths again, or maybe we'll pick the same path, and then the rest is history. But Tutor goes on 1-1 for week 3. You fall to 0-2, Ellendar, not practicing. I talked about this in the beginning. You'd been talking about this as well. You've been not doing a lot of practice.
I did 1 practice seed for this race. It's actually a fun one. I should send it to you if you're interested.
Okay. But Tutor, you've been doing practice on a daily basis. Is that accurate? I see you streaming all the time, pretty much doing Z2R with Z3R kind of mixed together.
Yeah, well, mostly every day, but
yeah.
I've been practicing a lot just because there's so many things that can happen in this mode. So I gotta experience the 6 gems and the 5 gems like this one, and then the 0 and the 1 too. Because I honestly think those are harder than these ones, the 5 and the 6.
Yeah. Different, same game, completely different curveball strategies for all of these, and sometimes it's an absolute crapshoot, which doesn't really feel good from a skill perspective. Hates, kind of sucks losing to a lot of RNG in those low gem seeds, but I don't know. We kind of just subject ourselves to this in Max Rando. Standard tournaments in the middle of the year are a lot more controlled in terms of logic and progression. But again, GG to both of our runners. I think that's going to be it from me. Tutor, any final thoughts? We'll pass it to you first. Any final thoughts on this seed or the tournament? Anything in general going on?
No, I think I'm good. But thanks for commenting, and thanks for ZSR for picking this up.
Ellendar, anything from you?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, thanks to everyone watching. Thanks to ZSR. VXR is going to take us out, and we'll see you in the next race coming up sort of shortly.
All right. Thanks, runners. Make sure to give both of them a follow. Thank you to Mirai for commentating, and thank you to Ricky Opukiri for tracking. We got another Z2R race coming up in about 45 minutes. We are still looking for some more of the crew to see if we can get that restreamed. If not, I'm sure someone can pull up a Khadgar and watch it there. Who is it between? Dr. JPHD and Jay Coper. All right. And for you early birds, at least in North America, we've got OOTR Season 6 action just before 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning between Yo-Yo Karina and Soli. So I'm sure that'll be a good one. Thank you all so much for watching, and catch you later.